Salute and welcome to Wild Country Daily Entertainment. Now, this article is from the Associated Press. This is about peace talks between Iran and U.S. faltering. They were supposed to have peace talks and something happened between the peace talks and it didn't go well. Both were firing strikes at each other. So yeah, let's get deeper into this article and see what it's saying. First off, the title to this article reads, Iran fires missiles and U.S. strikes Iran facility after reports of faltering peace talks. Will this ever end? Will we ever come to a conclusion, or will we ever come to peace? Because I tell you, this world is starting to get more and more evil. It always has been evil, but it's getting more evil as time goes on. People are starting to lose their minds. People are starting to not give a shit. Prices going up. Mental health issues getting worse. Addictions getting way worse. Just so much on people's plates. And then we got this bullshit going on in our country and other countries. And the people are just frankly sick and tired of the bullshit. Which I don't blame you. Because I would be too. That's why you got to live life to the fullest. Because you never know what's going to happen to the next day to the next. So, with that being said, peace and blessings. I hope you all stay safe and have your head on a swivel. So now, let's get into this article, shall we? First off, they said Dubai, United Arab Emirates. They say the U.S. military said Tuesday that Iran fired missiles at Kuwait and Bahrain that failed or were shot down, and that the U.S. launched strikes on an Iranian facility in response. They say Iran fired missiles toward Kuwait and Bahrain, but failed to hit their targets. They say the U.S. said the two fired at Kuwait fell apart en route, while U.S. and Bahraini forces intercepted the missiles aimed at Bahrain. They say U.S. Central Command said it responded with strikes on an Iranian military ground control station on Qasem Island in the Strait of Hormuz. They go on to say Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard said it had targeted the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet in Bahrain and another country in its attack. They say without naming Kuwait, it said it launched its attack in response to the U.S. firing a missile into the engine room of another oil tanker. So that tells us right there why our gas prices are going up. They keep on taking out oil tankers. They keep funding the war over there. Are we going to eventually see $10 a gallon for gas? Because I heard a couple of years ago, I forget where I heard it, but somebody said that gas will eventually be up to $10 a gallon. And I wish I could find that source where I saw that. Because here we are, We're almost in the $5 a gallon gas. Pretty sad times, huh? Let's go on. They say they had previously warned that in case of aggression, the response would be different and more severe, and we acted accordingly, the Guard said in its statement. They say Central Command also said it downed multiple drones launched by Iran targeting American forces in Kuwait. They say that the attacks happened after Iran stopped communicating with mediators about extending a ceasefire in the war with the U.S. and Israel, according to reports Tuesday from two semi-official Iranian news agencies. President Trump, they said, disputed the claim and said talks were continuing. They say the reports by the Fars and Tasnim news agencies, both believed to be close to the Guard, came as tensions flared in Israel's separate but related fight against the Iranian-backed militias Hezbollah in Lebanon. They say a regional official involved in the mediation, speaking on condition of anonymity to discuss the talks, told the Associated Press that Iran had not communicated at all on Tuesday after saying that a ceasefire needed to be enforced in Lebanon for negotiations to continue. They say Trump says talks going on continuously. They say Trump called reports of a cessation in talks false and erroneous. They say the conversations between us have been going on continuously, including 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 1 day ago, and today. They say Trump said in a social media post where they lead, one never knows, but as I told Iran, it's time, one way or another, for you to make a deal. They say U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio did not address the reported cutoff in communications as he testified at a congressional hearing in Washington. They say instead he sounded an optimistic note about the nuclear dimensions of the negotiations while cautioning that there's no guarantee of reaching a deal that's acceptable. Now, they go on to say Iran has been trying to increase pressure on Trump over negotiations on the Iran war ceasefire and loosening the Islamic Republic chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz and the oil, gas, and other commodities that normally pass through it. They said Trump then could potentially push Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt or slow the advance of his forces, which have moved deeper into Lebanon than at any time in over a quarter of a century. So now, let me know what your theories are on this whole situation. Do you think we're ever going to come to a peace and resolution? Or do you think this bullshit is going to keep going on and on and on and on until one of them blows a country up? I mean, I don't want to see innocent lives getting taken out because they're bullshit circus games. That's one thing. I think all of us citizens in every country should dismantle the bad actors that are in the government. And what I mean by that is I mean vote them out. Vote them out of office. Get them out of office. These are old, decrepit failures that never led the country to where it's supposed to go. So get a lot younger generation in that knows how to run a business, that knows how to run a country. These old heads have been in office long enough. Most of them probably have dementia. If not dementia, most of them are probably whacked out of their mind on some type of drug. Even though they're trying to take marijuana away from us, this and that away from us, but yet they're doing it all. That's why I'm saying, get a serious person in there, like a young person, not no 60, 70-year-old person. Get a young person in there, middle-aged person in there that's have experience on handling situations between other countries. But what do I know? Why should I care? Because I don't have hate in my heart for everybody. Are people wackadoodles? Hell yeah. But it is what it is. We have to still live our lives. Even though they're fucking everybody over. Not just in our country, but fucking everybody over in other countries. But we have to sit back and watch it and let it go. Nah, enough's enough. We need to start speaking up. We need not to hold these stupid ass cane protests, no. We need to have a serious protest. Not overboard, but respectful to where you get your point across. I don't know, like I said, if you find this interesting, leave a like, share the video out. If not, dislike the video. I'm only giving you the news, what they're sharing with us. I wish I knew more on the situation. But it is what it is. All we can do is pray. All we can do is come together. All we can do is keep pushing and hope that things will get better. But in the meantime, it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So with that being said, like I said, I'll leave the link for this article in the description down below. And if you made it this far, I thank you, everyone. And if you find it in your heart that you like any of my content, that you like any of my uploads, my shorts, anything, if you find it in your heart and you want to leave a small donation, whatever, if you want to leave a donation of whatever, small, big, it doesn't matter. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps the channel. Especially liking it and sharing it out. That really helps. So with that being said, like I said, peace out. Peace and blessings. Have a blessed day.